competition between...
This match shoots. Nico's going to be a real force. It's a little bit...
We're just in the final stages of their official warm-up.
Yep, he sure is a big unit out there, so it's going to be exciting to see what he can do at the net.
Here was on the development beach tour. And
well, we've got
court very much coach-driven, but on the beach, this group of boys didn't miss out.
Introduced together for James Sadlier and Nico Leeds.
So Scott Shipton, left-hander, very unique having two left-handers on the court. On to Nico.
Nico says, "Don't trouble me."
He saw the opportunity to play a standing rainbow, which is a high shot to the back. Swings cross court, off the top of the tape, and just out there and try and put a bit of spin on it. Lovely pass up from James Sadley. At that time the set's perfect. Do some jumping. These guys will do between 60 and 100 jumps in a match, these boys.
Great pass from Nico.
Scott, great dig in the back court. Nico couldn't get the power he wanted as the ball took it away from his shoulder. He played on 5-6. Time and error on the serve receive. Grady just putting it a bit tight for Scott. So 6-all. Stunningly hot here. We're just past the 30 degrees mark at Mt Maunganui.
It is unfortunate. It's a great passing set, but the wind just sort of pushed that ball.
Yeah.
Scott
took the lines out, took the referee's hat off. Just Kerry. You can't hear the gusting. You can see the flag.
In that cord on his hat.
Yeah. Nico, another tough serve in the back corner, really pushing it on to Grady.
Grady just caught out a little bit out of position there.
Yeah, so what's happened is Grady caught out of position. He's made a bit of a fault in the play, but he let a couple of words, not so nice, slip, and he's got a yellow card. Control momentum. Yeah. But 8-all the score. It looked like a pretty tight call from Kerry. At that time the sets drifted players.
Done it very well there. It's resulted in
Doug beautifully, but Nico's followed through on the overpass. But in this wind, it can happen so quickly. James Sadlier pops on onto Scott, onto Grady, and the shutout block. Nico leads at the net.
Block from Nico.
James Sadlier drops it on the sideline. An ace serve, useful when you're down by 2.
3 in a row. It's a great comeback here. See how Scott and Grady close out the set, and if James and Nico can continue to show this heart.
Oh, another unforced error. This time Grady had the ball slip through his hands. The art of setting is very difficult on the beach in this wind. That time, slipping through his hand, and suddenly it's all square. Grady's gone into the tank on the serve receive. He's missed another pass. You see him get in line. It just rose up on him. Couldn't control it. Rangitoto have gone on a 5-0 streak.
Here you go, Grady.
This time Grady's missed his cut shot. He's not happy. The bucket hat comes off.
A little bit of frustration here, but see if he can grit it out, get his side out, get some rhythm back.
James Sadley, a left-hander, serves onto Grady again. He gets a good pass up this time. Here's his chance. Hits beautifully into the back corner.
Great shot from Grady. Great set from Scott as well to put him in a position where he could really hit that ball down.
Can Grady pull a tough serve out? That time the second ball pass was tough from well off the net from James, and the wind caught it and took it away from Nico. Couldn't get the ball alive. We're all square again, 17s.
Great touch from Scott. Nico again with the finesse.
What a great scramble by Scotty Shimpton. He's made a great play in the back court to keep them in it. And then the shutout block from Grady, but the ball was kept alive, and then Nico went with the roll shot.
Swing.
Beautiful.
Looked aggressive from the first step of his approach, was
swing
what you like to see.
Making it 18.
Arms of
Between the blocker and the defender sitting in that cross-court shot.
tight, and in the end, Rangitoto chat about tactics. Their coaches will be giving them some concepts and ideas. The wind's peeling the water off the top of them. In the middle of the second of the year 13s or senior semi-finals for the boys. Coming up next, the second semi-final for the girls.
See, there's a bit of a crowd gathering here on the banks. There's Quade Forbes, Grady's older brother, who's represented New Zealand playing in the Asian Champs just recently.
The Mal underneath.
It'll be interesting to see how Grady's...
It's getting clarity. Rangitoto College open. The attack wasn't quite right. Scotty with a hammer!
Comes out with a hammer. What a rally. Unreal. That ball sat very well for Nico at the bottom of that net, just giving that time to get on the ball. And James with a beautiful save.
What a dig by James, and then out of the net by Nico. Then the set from Grady's perfect. Scotty's just crushed it down the middle of the court.
Second set, 3-0.
Beautiful shot. Great aggression, Scott Shimpton. That time James with the tough pass. The easy plays not taken by Grady. But the overpass from Nico.
Gets it on that second effort. You get a sense that these Tauranga boys have come out with a sense of aggression and really wanting to take their chances in this set. So looks like we might have a bit of a battle on our hands.
Certainly they've picked up the intensity of the Tauranga boys. And it's hot, it's windy. Fitness will be a factor. Set from James. A good one. Nico plays a high. Scotty again with a great save. Settling play, James Sadlier, cross court, beautiful dig, great. Scotty again, Wynn took it off it.
Scotty again with
That skill set, very hard to do, especially in the, missed it long.
Just that wind adding that extra factor of connecting
We
well.
will have a girls semi-final.
That time James Sadlier looked for the little short shot, cross court on the serve, missed it wide, bonus point again for Tauranga.
All live streamed.
It's a big
Sky
lead for
Sport Next
Tauranga,
YouTube
up
channel.
7-1, so swing every time. Scotty again belts at cross court.
That is a great shot. Look at the angle he's created. Scotty go nice and wide, and he's turned it way back cross court with lots of power. The kicker out of the sand's a big bounce. Look out in the crowd.
He lives for those divots, does Scott. He aims for them.
Grady with a tough serve down the middle, gets the error from James Sadlier. Just overplayed the serve receive. And 8-3. Tauranga boys, beautiful second set start.
The high swing. I'm a little surprised they're still going after Nico after he started out so well in that first set. But so far, whatever they're doing is working pretty well, so I don't blame them.
James Sadlier goes back into the pocket at the net. A great defender. Scotty Shimpton serves a tough one this time onto James. Lovely pass from James. The set's good from Nico. Is on the button for Scotty to wipe off the hands of Nico Lee.
James with that inside out shot, just dropping his... So the timeout we've got here, so
I'm not sure. I think we've got a bit of blood. There's still plenty of shells on the Mt Maunganui beach, and so when there's a blood situation, the blood actually needs to be removed just in case James has got anything serious. So you've got to clean it up, make sure it doesn't bleed profusely, but also for the protection of the player. And so they're basically allowed about a minute for a blood timeout to do it quickly, and then either they can take a technical timeout, like a medical timeout, or take a normal standard time. Hopefully he'll survive and no one will get infected by him. You know, James, pretty safe lad, lives on the shore, not too many dangerous beaches out there.
this may be just the thing they need, so it's just to regroup and then get back out there.
I could definitely say I've never taught him to take a medical time out when the pressure's on and he needed a break. So,
Can't have learned it from you, sir.
and so obviously they've gone into a medical timeout situation, so that leaves the player up to just looking for a bit of tape, and there was some floating around earlier. As we're just, yeah, it's going to take 5 minutes. The medical crew are just looking for some tape to tape him up. He's definitely still bleeding. It is quite a big cut. Hopefully he doesn't need stitches. But at the moment, we just need something to cover up the blood. If the medics can't find stuff required, they actually will get a little bit longer.
Ice the set.
Because we don't. So the Rangitoto doctor and also Dr. Annie Sadley has arrived to clean up.
Time out, just a bit of an injury to the knee. Getting that attended to.
And so one of those plasters is on, so magical elastoplast, unbelievable plasters if you're out there. I know elastoplast people watching. Come and help us out on the beach tour and start sponsoring these great players and athletes. And then we'll finish off with a bit of tape, hopefully. Of course, important in today's world. Health and safety is critical. These guys have obviously played all weekend in the stinking hot sun. They've definitely got plenty of sun cream on. The blood injury is a unique one, but in today's world you need to stop all sport when there's blood. Clean it up. It is a process that exists. Also the ball will be checked if there's any blood on it. Also the sand parts. Mary's already scouted the sand to have a bit of a look. Just a couple of minutes left in this medical timeout. They just try and cover it.
Scott and Grady out here just getting a few touches. Staying warm, staying ready.
So for those wandering past, this is the New Zealand National Secondary School Championships. We've been here all day yesterday and today with around 215 teams from across the country in 3 different age categories. And it all comes down to this for the seniors.
Just a couple of steps away is Mary Kiri. Did a bit of training as a medic. Just finishing off the last touches, making sure that none of the blood can escape. Hopefully she doesn't do it too tight so James's leg falls off. And here we go. As they come back to the court.
So if we're getting back into it.
Next up the girls semi-final. Looks like we're good to go. The knee strapped up.
13-6, Tauranga boys lead the second set. They are 1-0 down.
Physio, first aid, score. Rangitoto to serve, down 6-13.
Yes, the last point was scored by Rangitoto College, so Nico Leitz is back to serve. Looking to get a run on here and bring them back into the second set to take out the match. Tauranga boys looking to be rock solid and get the side out from that break. Dig, James Sadley is a stunner.
James. Out Nico, that swing down the line.
Pressure all the time. James Sadley, a lovely floating serve onto Grady. Grady gets a great set from Scotty. James again with a dig.
Des has called him out for the double contact there, so the ball hasn't come out cleanly out of his hands on the set.
Yeah, another tight call. Useful for Tauranga boys. What a set from James Sadlier. Allowed Nico to get high and swing hard, and this time off the block of Grady.
Grady gets a great touch there, but Nico's contact is just so high. He just chips that just off the top of his hands and down into the sand.
past Nico. Tough serve from Scott. His hand hit the top of the tape. Look closely at his hand.
On the spot.
Causing the net to bounce. Another bonus point for Tauranga.
Few unforced errors here from the Rangi boys, so they'll definitely be looking to tidy those up for the next set. Again, the net is just not their friend at the moment.
Nico working his magic. Not sure how that one went over, but it did.
The scramble at the net from Nico was tight. He somehow bumped it over off the tape. Poor old Grady got caught
19.
at the net. 10-19. Nico, big serve. Great set from Grady. He was really tight to the net.
To take set point.
Grady does well there to control his body and
to push it to
not
third
fall
and
into the net.
deciding set.
Scotty makes no mistake on the side out.
Set point for Tauranga boys.
Nico with an absolute
Great
hammer.
set down
Great
the
set
line.
from James.
He has got beautiful hands as James. Sadly, at that time the set was very high in this breeze. Probably the part that's causing the issues. But that time it was perfect and sat onto the left arm of Nico Leitz, who absolutely crushed it down the line. 11-20, one set point saved.
As they did in that first set,
That's
that allowed
one set
it
all.
bring right back into it. So we're looking to carry that through into this third.
Of a coin for the third set.
So they toss a coin for the third set, and the winner of the toss.
In the final.
But you have to imagine that Nico and James are going to come out with a bit of a second wind here and look to be pretty aggressive early. So I think it's going to shape up to be a close third.
Yep, this is where boys become men, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to get caught up in the moment? Who's going to stay focused and clear on how they perform? The wind is still gusting. It still is a factor. The game of beach volleyball is about control in these sorts of conditions, and which team controls the ball the best.
So set number 3.
Underway. Scott with a
This is it.
perfect
Late
serve.
semi-final.
Just rolls straight over that tape, going short again on the big man. Nico just struggling to get his feet under the ball.
Another perfect skirt.
It's gone just
drift
long. Just long.
Crikey, I thought it was in there. So 1-0. James Sadlier back with the jump serve into the breeze. Oh, hits the tape and just goes wide.
Thought that was going to go for a second switch, but it's just drifted just outside the court.
It's short right onto Nico, and it's created a lot of pressure on him. And the
Going to set the ball
Change of ends
over
on
the net
5
towards
points.
because
Grady just a little bit. And the error on the serve, so critical in these conditions to get the ball in play. Side on replay, hopefully.
Reaching called over the net.
missed serve there gives the Tauranga boys a free. Just doing really well in this set. He's made those adjustments and is reading
Timeout called by Rangitoto. What a run from Tauranga boys.
for moving up and serving high body on him, which is just
National Indoor Final last day.
the Tauranga boys will have to be really clinical here to maintain that lead and close out the set.
Here we go. Grady back to serve. Short,
Two fantastic defensive plays.
And in
but 6-10 in the race to 15.
Rangitoto
A
point
two-thirds. It was a tough set. Yeah, James, right shot, just missed the execution. To keep the game alive.
Here from the good end. What can James do with that wind?
Tight, tensed the pecs and popped it back over the net for a winner.
Tips.
Next up, we've got the women's
Semi-
of Christchurch up next in the women's final.